Hello everyone, welcome to the Geoecologist. I am Dr. Krishnanand, and in this session we are going to learn about locational analysis. So what is this locational analysis and how it is linked to quantitative revolution that we have already learnt in the previous lecture. So if you have not watched the previous lecture on quantitative revolution, go to the playlist and do watch it before this lecture. But before we go ahead, please like and subscribe to our channel and don't forget to press the bell icon for the updates. So let's understand that what is this locational analysis. As we have understood in the previous lecture about the quantitative revolution that happened in 1960s, especially the post-World War II, lot of science developed, lots of things happened in the methodology and research in geography. So what happened? After the Schaeffer's work of exceptionalism in geography as a methodology part in 1953 when it was published, so after that phase started this revolution in terms of use of quantitative techniques in geographical understanding. So quantitative revolution started at that phase and it peaked in its 1960s and 70s as the methodology that had mathematical analysis as well as the statistical analysis to analyze and understand the spatial realities of the world. So we observe that I. Burton in 1963 defined it as a radical transformation of the spirit and purpose of geography. So many times this question also can be asked that what is this radical transformation in spirit and purpose of geography? Basic idea of this particular approach was to understand geography as a scientific discipline, to establish it in terms of the law-making body like the pure sciences. So the idea of QR, that is the quantitative revolution, involved all these techniques and its conceptual understanding. So what are these? Descriptive statistics, inferential statistics like correlation regression methods, basic mathematical equations like gravity model of social physics, Coulomb equation, deterministic models of Van Thunen's and Weber's locational model as it came from the German School of Geography, as we know. So these were resurrected in 1950s and 60s. Then stochastic model that we say related to the concepts of probability and basis of probability theory of understanding of the real phenomena of the world and the spatial diffusion processes. So what we observe is that quantitative revolution involved all the applications of various statistical methods and also mathematical models in geographical understanding. So what we say is that locational analysis is part of this quantitative revolution. It was one of the benchmarks or the baseline of the analysis of a given space. So what happened in human geography especially? This new approach became famous by the name of locational or spatial analysis, or to some people it is also known by spatial science. So this idea of analyzing a space in terms of a given location. So location is basically talking about this approach where you have a absolute location of rows and columns as we talk about the latitude and longitude. So that is one point location. Similarly, talking about the matrices of these characteristics of different spaces as we see here. So in terms of the matrix, in terms of understanding of a spatial phenomena and spatial organization, for example, the tributary of area of a major node, or whether it can be a port, market town, or a city shopping center. So these were analyzed. So all those spaces that we studied in geography may be economic spaces or social spaces or human created spaces. That is why it is said that basically this approach was to understand human geography. So locational analysis was not about just the natural part or the environmental part of geography. It was talking about analysis of the phenomena that is related to human beings. Right? So movement of people, messages, goods and so on. These were interesting phenomena that was happening all around the world. And remember, post World War II, the phase was of restructuring. Everything was now being created. Suburbanization was happening. City restructuring was happening. Transport corridor development was happening. So all the developments were taking place all around the world. So this was all about the human created spaces rather than just the natural spaces. So this locational analysis or the spatial analysis holds one of the very important part of this quantitative revolution in geographical thinking. It is one of the benchmark studies that was done through various models whose basic principle was the spatial arrangement of the phenomena, in which hierarchy of various places, linkages between two places, gravity model, diffusion model, and several such studies were done. So let's understand it further. So what we observe here is that one of the most influential models for these principles was developed by a German geographer. Again, we see that coming from the German school of thought, largely in 1920s and 30s. Remember Walter Kristaller, central place theory. So it gained importance again back in 60s because of its locational characteristic, its principles of the study, which was largely based on the least cost location. So these economic theory largely we see here is gaining importance using stats or maths. So this was important here, that using statistical tools or mathematical models, explanation of human beings as economic being rather than just a natural being. So we remember saying that now the man was talked about as economic man. So man was no more just a nature or part of nature. Now he was considered as part of the economic principle. So he was an economic man when considered about these studies. Further, as we observe, more economists joined this movement like Hoover, August Lodge. They produced similar theories. Todd Palander, Alfred Weber, all these people talked about movement of goods, services, industries, resources. And remember, again I'll tell you that this phase was again restructuring. Right from the World War phase to post-World War phase, the world was at development at its peak, the consumption of resources at its peak. So these theories developed during this particular phase of about 20 to 30 years that we see. So what we see here is that finally there was an issue of change within such spatial systems. So the new concepts were emerging, in which Swedish geographer, that is Torsten Hägerstrand. So his work of spatial diffusion, as we say, spatial analysis and spatial diffusion theory given by Hägerstrand, acquired lots of importance during this phase. So he added spatial components of sociological and economic models of the diffusion of information. So according to Hägerstrand, what happened? The main centers of innovation. Again, he talked about the main centers of innovation, that which are going to be the main centers of innovation. Those centers which are the largest cities in the region. This is about human geography, about urban geography, about development. So these cities which had large sizes were considered as the center or the pivot of modern economies. So from which new ideas and practices spread down the urban hierarchies and across the intervening non-urban spaces. So it was considered that all the diffusion will come to this space from this center, from this city. So what will happen? The innovation will be diffused to the nearby spaces which are non-urban in characteristic from this particular center. With distance, what will happen? There will be a decay. So again, if you see this distance decay model, gravity model, it basically means between two different places, what is the relationship as we study in between two different objects in gravity. So gravity model and distance decay analysis, all these things became the main aspect of geographical understanding of the spatial phenomena, spatially urbanization, city restructuring, development of suburbia. In sociology, we understand the suburban development, the new social realm creation. So all these things are integrated in basically the locational analysis that we study, and especially Hägerstrand's model holds a very important place in terms of the diffusion of information, in terms of the diffusion of innovation from the major cities that we study. Furthermore, in the works of Peter Haggett, that is the locational analysis in human geography that was published in 1965, this title holds one of the most important aspects of this locational analysis as we study. So locational analysis in human geography, along with the works of Richard Shorley and Haggett further in 1967, that was models in geography. Remember these two work of 1965 and 1967, models in geography and locational analysis in human geography, give lots of importance and impetus to the understanding that human beings
could be considered as economic beings, as rational beings, could be scientifically explained through these economic models, using these statistical tools and techniques, using the modeling based on mathematics and statistics. So this was interesting point in terms of the quantitative revolution in geography. So if somebody asks you that is locational analysis different from quantitative revolution? No. Quantitative revolution is a phase of about 20 to 30 years that occupied the main reference frame of geographical understanding, within which we find the ideas of regional synthesis as well. It means the study of the region in the perspective of the synthesis, that is usage of scientific techniques and integration within that region, matrix analysis, but as well as the locational analysis or the spatial analysis as well. So it's about not just the locational analysis or diffusion, but rather than the synthesis models or the new models of spatial diffusion as well within that framework. So we observe that quantitative revolution is a framework, a phase in which locational analysis is one of the major aspects or one of the major pivots which moved the geographical thinking. So works of Ron Abler, John Adams, Peter Gould, whose work Spatial Organization came in 1971, Richard L. Morrell's The Spatial Organization of Society in 1970, all these works are of prime importance when we study the locational analysis in human geography. So if you are writing an answer on locational analysis in human geography, do quote these prime works that was important in 1960s and 70s. These work is the basis for this kind of analysis and still holds relevant in terms of the understanding of the spaces. How? Let's understand that further. That at the end of 20th century, these skills developed further by the rise of remote sensing in geography. So how this remote sensing made a difference? The idea of earlier map making that was related to the laboratory and field work and many other surveys like plane table surveys, now it was all based on GPS and GIS models. So the locational analysis further lived its way through using this GIS system and incorporating the global positioning system. So the rise of satellite technology, the rise of Canadian GIS by, remember, Roger Tomlinson in 1970s, the locational analysis as a major part of the positivistic science. It basically meant geography with scientific understanding of the phenomena paved way, and still it's ruling the roost in geographical understanding of spatial phenomena. So today also all the geographers use this GPS and GIS for spatial or locational analysis and further understanding the phenomena in terms of its spatial variations.
So now, when we have learnt about the basic idea, the concepts of locational analysis, the works of great scholars in 1960s and 70s that pertain to locational analysis in geographical thinking, now we know that locational analysis is important in terms of the explanation of various events, phenomena over spaces that we study in geography. So all my best wishes to you. Stay safe, stay tuned, all the best.